Alrighty, so for the second consecutive week, before I even get a chance to do a video reviewing the weekend's action, I have to do a video talk about another head coach being fired this week. As just a couple of hours ago, it was announced that FC Dallas has fired Nico Estevez after 2.5 seasons as the head coach of the team. And this came after when Dallas, of course, drew against Minnesota United, though you could argue it was more like Minnesota United too, because with the way that Minnesota was missing 10 players in that game, and that kind of felt like it was the last straw for Nico Estevez, and especially from what I watched from the game, you can clearly see the players were not playing for him anymore, and just there's clear frustration that is going on between the teams, and I think we also saw in full picture one of the biggest problem with Nico Estevez in terms of his tactics that he's been using. I mean, I've questioned in terms of some of the tactics that he's been using throughout some of these games, but this season it's been kind of been on full display where it's just been boring soccer. It almost reminds me a little bit of near the end when Luchi Gonzalez, of course, was eventually let go by FC Dallas. Where while Luchi Gonzalez did get some good result for Dallas, things kind of took a turn for its worse near the last year, and that FC Dallas basically had no choice but to fire him. And unfortunately, it feels like now the Quakes are suffering the same issue again, where I'm seeing the same thing with the Quakes, where Luchi Gonzalez makes some good impact for for the Quakes in the first season, but this second season it's been a bit rough going for the Quakes. And speaking of Luchi Gonzalez, I wonder will that potentially be the next head coach to be fired? Because yeah, as we have seen already, three head coach has now been fired in just this month alone. It is clearly now time at the time of the season where we're gonna start seeing teams maybe getting a little desperate, trying to fire their head coach, trying to maybe get their get a new interim head coach, or maybe even name a new head coach and maybe make it run for the playoffs. Obviously, for FC Dallas, they're going to name Peter Lucian as their interim head coach, and we shall see whether or not if that will help them. I mean, one of the other thing I will say about Dallas this season is that it is pretty clear that they miss Alan Velasco this season. I mean, you can clearly see the playmaking that Alan Velasco did last year really helped mirror some of the issue that Dallas has had last year on the attacking end, and that there's still no timetable when exactly he's going to come back. Well, they needed him because this attack has been relatively flat, and that we'll also see whether or not the new interim head coach Peter Lucian can maybe unlock this attack in these next coming games, and we'll also see whether or not if Dallas can get themselves back into a playoff picture. Because as much as I know it's been a rough season for this Dallas team, they're not that far away from the playoff standings. I mean, that's kind of the beauty in terms of having a nine spot into the playoffs. Although I would say it's a beauty, but it's kind of the thing that masks the problem with the regular season in MLS, where the importance of the regular season has been definitely lessened after they announced that nine team will make it to the playoffs. But it does give us a chance that if Dallas could go on a good run, and especially from the fact that I feel like this year, just like what we saw last season, the West is very volatile, and that there's been times where teams have had problems in terms of getting an unbeaten streak going, and you just if you can just hit that one good unbeaten streak, or even win like 3 or 4 games in a row, all of a sudden you can get yourself up in the standings just like that. So yeah, we'll see whether or not if Dallas can, of course, do that, and that whether they can get the new interim head coach boost. But yeah, let me know in the comments below what do you think of this video, and I'm pretty sure Dallas fans are relieved in terms of that, because I've heard a lot of Dallas fans that's been calling for Nico Estevez heads ever since the beginning of the season. Now that of course has happened, what's next for this team, and whether we'll see whether if interim head coach Peter Lucian how he's gonna do. We've seen before where when an interim head coach does a very good job, especially for a long period of time and not just that short period of time when they get the new interim head coach boost, they might stick around and be promoted as a head coach. So we'll see whether or not if Peter Lucian gets that chance. I'm assuming he will, mainly because one of the other issue I will say about this firing is the fact that yeah, I mean they haven't really talked about what the potential replacement is going to be, and it's also kind of interesting that these three teams, Nashville, Atlanta, and now FC Dallas, have already fired their head coach. None of them has even mentioned about they're looking to trying to get a head coach. Like almost kind of like they're just riding out almost near the end of the season before they get a head coach. And that could work both ways. It could work in a way where if the new intern head coach does very well, he might get promoted. Or the fact that maybe they'll get a little boost because of the new interim head coach, and then eventually they will name a successor as the season goes along. That's kind of the thing that is a little tricky when you basically decide to fire a head coach in the middle of the season. But I also think that they could maybe wait until once we get into the summer, where we have seen before where teams decide to go to Europe and look to try to get head coach from there, and we'll see whether or not if Dallas is going to be one of those teams that maybe they're going to go to Europe again looking for a head coach there, or maybe they'll just promote within, because the last two head coaches that they've done, Luchi Gonzalez and Nico Estevez, I think both of them have been kind of within. So do not be surprised if Peter Lucien might actually get this job permanently, and depending on how he's going to do, I'm not sure if Dallas fans will be happy about the fact that they've been trying to promote internally, and while they have done a good job in terms of developing some good academy player, it hasn't been the same case in terms of head coaches, where it's only kind of short turn kind of success, and then it just unfortunately they just unable to get over the hump to a point where, again, one of the thing that frustrate Dallas fans is that they're good enough to make it to the playoffs, but they're just not good enough to really compete and compete with the upper echelon and upper tier of these teams in the Western Conference that's fighting for MLS Cup. But like I said, let me know in the comments below what do you think of this video. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys leave a like, smash the subscribe button, and yeah, I of course will see you guys next time.